Hello and welcome to what I call a new stream, and today we are going to be playing Edgeworth Investigations Collection Case 3 again. Because we did not finish it yesterday. The reason I didn't finish it yesterday is because I was bored. I know, I said that I wasn't feeling up to it, but no, I was just bored and I didn't want to play anymore. So hopefully we can finish the boredom today, and hopefully we can get to a better part of the case. Because that was, frankly, not very entertaining for me. Very well. Episode 4, Turnabout Reminiscence, Part 2. September 10th, 5:45 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1. What is this incredibly overpowering scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is that... No. How do I do this voice again? I forgot. Uncle Bad, is that it? Is this it? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? It looks like she managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. No, too bad. It's so pretty. I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks, I'll switch it always. Those two seem to get along rather well. Oh, here. I got something else for you. Yay, thank you, Uncle Bad. Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy. Gummy? Ah, you mean Gumshoe. Gummy is... he was trying to be so nice to me because I was gonna get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he tried to protect me. Gummy? I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if he saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved with the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. Was? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess around with the crime scene. And now you let this child run frei. Warum? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You always had a few things you wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? I don't have a problem with that, but I'm curious as to what Miss Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna look for someone else right now, okay? Aye, I'm counting on you. Ah, that's right. Hey, mister. Guess what is it? I know Gummy really isn't a bad guy, I mean it. So please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this, but in the absence of perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there is no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. She wandered off while I was pondering. Right. Based on the fact that it didn't say begin investigation, I'm guessing I'm not supposed to investigate. Detective Bad, what exactly was Case searching for? Nothing that concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose this has something to do with Kai? It does. Because she's a Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. It sounds like you'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again.
I don't have anything to say to you.
Be that as it may, we still have questions that need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating in this room? Upon entering this room, I thought I was going to suffocate.
Is that ultra-strong perfume you wears? She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window, but that smell's still here.
Perfume, huh? So the sweet scent in the air is perfume.
Well, it's giving off quite a stench. I bet it's some cheap no-name brand.
She said it's a famous brand from overseas.
It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff.
No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it.
I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have it spare, I suppose I take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail.
Ugh. How can't she ever be honest about her wants? Angel. Interesting. So now we have the perfume with few words. Just fantastic.
Is that all you wanted to talk about? If so, I'm going back to investigate.
Actually, I still have a few other things I wish to inquire about. So you were in this room the entire recess?
Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lock down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here.
At least your story is consistent.
Earlier you stated that you were in this lobby with Miss Yu.
Yeah, I ran into her the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here.
Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Miss Yu were in two different locations.
Guess I am.
Interesting.
Speaking of the lawyer, she seems to have a grudge. She seems to have a great dislike of you.
Let's see. Miss Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG-8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bat was the lead detective on that case. I wonder if the reason for this stain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on the case.
You knew?
I also know that today's trial is involving the Cadopian Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG-8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me and told me the truth behind your relationship with Miss Yu and Mr. Faraday and the KG-8 incident.
If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you.
Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG-8 incident.
It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved, you two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth about the KG-8 incident. Faraday, you, and I. As you already know, we three were involved in the KG-8 incident. Faraday and I were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring.
You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Umano Group's secretaries?
That trial's just a front.
A facade?
Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Umano Group's ties to the smuggling ring CCU was killed.
And what became of the secretary who was arrested?
His name was Colin Devore. And to be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Devore was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another scapegoat.
The boss man of the Umano Group. Can't seriously mean Mr. Ernst Umano. That can't be right. It's probably just Detective Bat's personal hypothesis. What's he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Umano of being involved in smuggling?
I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who's killed CCU, Money Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder, Mr. Faraday, how could you let him go?
If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him.
That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, CC, I was supposed to protect them both.
Miss Yu did mention that as well, about how Detective Bat was supposed to guard her sister.
But even I, who was supposed to protect them, I fell into their trap.
What kind of trap?
The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap.
You mean you were fired upon?
You were shot that many times in a gunfight?
No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident.
I see.
I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. It hit a brick wall as far as the law was concerned. And then when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister, that's when I first met Callista Yu.
About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG-8 incident was handed down, was it not?
Yes. Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face.
Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough.
I suppose not. You said it herself, that she never wanted to see Versa ever again.
But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct?
Yeah. Faraday and I, even after the KG-8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring and got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. We couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring.
Is the ring really that big?
It was in pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor and I was the lead detective. Took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring and she was
wrong. Her client was related to the smuggling ring and she was defending them. Yeah.
You was pursuing the ring as best as she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time for the same reason.
To think of it, Miss Hughes did say something to the same effect.
I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for the leaks regarding the KG-8 incident, alright?
And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer.
Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intention of covering for him. Ever. So don't ever suggest I was going to. It doesn't matter what the reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable.
You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you. That's how naive you are.
How dare you insult the daughter of a Von Karma?
Just like us, you felt she had hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all.
The law is merely a tool. There's no limit to it. Only the skill of the craftsman.
You two are still too young, but one day you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all.
So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well.
I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. And Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together.
But you do seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case.
Did we touch a nerve?
I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial, to prove that Durrell was not the real Yatagarasu, which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either.
I sense that there's more to that statement that meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me?
What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel.
I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu.
Right?
The KJ incident and the second KJ incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was testifying about the ring was murdered. However, there's one point in which they differ. And that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Don't you find that at least a bit odd?
Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already.
I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time.
A reason, huh?
And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu.
If it'll help you solve the case, then I'll tell you. I'll tell you the reason why we never got the Yatagarasu.
What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident.
Gosh! Still accidentally whipped me anyway.
There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind ever.
I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits.
Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief.
The Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Will wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away.
But you can't use that sort of logic in its own to prove that he wasn't.
Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet.
Yeah.
The difference between this time was the evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police, and the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Godopian embassy, the Yatagarasu.
Yatagarasu sent the evidence?
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about.
In that case, how can we be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it?
That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure.
And just what sort of card is it?
Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was.
Ah, so that's how Detective Bat knew Mr. Rel was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now.
Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes?
Your Honor, I would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir.
Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you?
Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive.
I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself. and to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty.
September 10th, District Court, courtroom number 3.
Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. It appears His Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness's stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony.
Well, there's no reason for you to be all suppressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict.
Francisca, there's no need to further depress His Honor.
But I'm not trying to, Miles.
Your Honor. Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence. Your Honor. Yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir.
Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused for long enough at least till you do your job?
Yes, I'm sorry. I would expect a defense attorney has yet arrived. She's busy with the investigation, so let's keep it brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of information are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them at your investigation to the case. Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of those two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding the case, and maybe even something that will lead me to the truth. I've placed all of the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they are all accounted for. I'm guessing, what is this though? Evidence that Miss Yu prepared is just sitting here on this table.
You know you just can't walk off with it, right?
Of course I do. Miss Yu must have been caught off guard by her client's sudden accusation. I wonder how she would have defended Mr. Rell in that case if he was still alive. So this is evidence related to today's Cadopian Embassy trial from Mr. Faraday's bag.
You mean the evidence bag was on the table in lobby number 2, right?
Yes, finally we can now take a look at the evidence itself, and not just the data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time.
Agreed. I want to take a good look at all the evidence from the embassy murder too.
And why is that?
Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about.
Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something.
And don't try to order me around just because Papa chose you today.
I see someone is still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see the knife up close. So we have the knife, the gun, and an envelope. And this organizer, what's this doing here? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? They found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside the evidence back office. Detective Bat requested it be passed along to you. He just said it would help the investigation. Detective Bat said that?
What a strange stroke of luck.
Well, never look at gift horse in the mouth. Might as well flip through it too. Shut up. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started.
Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it.
I suppose I should explain it to you then.
Yes, you should. Perfectly and in its entirety, if you please.
On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mac Rell was brought in the night as suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon had been found on him, for which he was arrested for on the spot.
A simpleton of a man. That's what he was.
Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rell was caught in the act on film by a security camera.
He was an even bigger simpleton than I'd thought. I can't believe he didn't notice a security camera.
The Cadopian Embassy security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in the area.
So, have you seen the contents of the video yourself?
Yes, the surveillance video and the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rell on it, even the second gunshot, and it was crystal clear.
So the footage included sounds, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life.
Me neither.
Gone.
This gun, it was originally used to kill the Godopian embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police officer found Mr. Rowell still holding it, which led to an immediate arrest.
And then this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic.
Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. Mr. Faraday's organizer, it appears to... I am dying. For some reason. Hold on. I think a hair's in my ear and it's distracting me. There we go. Mr. Faraday's organizer, it appears he was in the habit of using it.
It looks like he wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here.
I've collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him and that he was arrested, the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in the case. Okay. Why did... Thanks a lot. It would appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. Oh, because it's a different... No matter how we try to play it, as long as the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present it to him in court, he should clear everything up. And apparently had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle, I hope this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell was to make about being the real Yatagarasu.
And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was the guilty party in the embassy murder.
This organizer is a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later.
Look, there is a picture struck between these pages here.
It appears to be a key.
And a rather ornate one. Just look at the design on the handle.
The craftsmanship is superb. This be the Yatagarasu key Mr. Faraday mentioned this organizer.
The Yatagarasu's key?
Detective Bad said something earlier.
What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the only one who related to the Godopian embassy, the Yatagarasu.
The Yatagarasu sent the evidence.
Until now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few of us know about.
Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe.
As the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasus and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday.
Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used in such a cruel act?
It's never crossed your mind that you can use your riding crop in the wrong purpose. That's odd.
What is it?
Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about the knife in his organizer.
That certainly is odd.
The weapon was used to kill the Godopian embassy member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used for the murder for Mr. Faraday come from?
Isn't it obvious it was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell? That's the only logical conclusion, richtig?
No, because it's not easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside.
In that case, how do you suppose this knife ended up inside the courthouse?
I need to think carefully here. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Faraday's organizer. However, it's a fact this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there's one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one else has claimed to have seen today. In order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence.
Miles, Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have not answered me yet to mean that you don't have an answer for me?
Actually, I do know the answer, Francisco.
Was? Then what is it?
One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret on its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courthouse. That's a good question. I need to look at the organizer. Thank you. So I didn't read the second page.
Between the handgun Rel had on him when he was arrested in the surveillance tape, we should be able to prove that the one, yes. The sound of the handgun going off was recorded in superb clarity. We have evidence to prove that it's not the real Yatagarasu, no matter how he may try to play it. As long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove that he's a phony. If I present to him in court, it should clear everything up. It's a long battle, I hope it's brought to an end. He mentioned the Yatagarasu's key. It was brought... through this plastic bag.
Take that!
Okay, nope. Evidence back. Conversely, there is one item listed in the organizer that no one has claimed to have seen today. It is through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought in the courthouse. Can I not look at the knife? Okay, I guess not. I need to prove that. I guess I also have evidence that I can use to prove Mr. Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. I'm guessing this is the way. This is what they want to present on page 2? No, I'm stupid. Help, help, a guide, 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 I'm stupid. Guide, I'm stupid. Help me. Guide. Case 3. This is case 3, right? Yeah, this is case 3. Is it case 3? This is case 4. Is this case 4? Hold on. This is case 4! Hold on a second, the stream is titled wrong. God damn it! I'm a smart man. Yes, it's case 4, the stream is titled wrong. I'm so smart, it's crazy. My smarts have been thoroughly outsmarted. I forgot that I can't change it on mobile. Hey. Just enjoy the background music as I do a little bit of a change in here. Hold on, just a moment here. I'm a professional streamer who does this for a living. Well, I don't do this for a living, so you can't actually be mad at me for being shit at games. And save. The stream has successfully been titled. You love to see it. What was I about to do? I forgot. Case 4. It's a guide. Investigations 1. Guide. The strategy wiki, you know. RPG side. So this would be case 4. And this would be fuck. I don't know where we are. This may be part 3. Defendant lobby number 1, that's this. Courtroom number 3, examine bloody knife. Examine the bloody knife when prompted. What? Examine each object, starting with the organizer, the small black book. Okay, examine the bloody knife. Present the Yatagarasu's key. Present the key? Why? Oh, it's the knife. It's the fucking knife. It's the knife. Oh, I'm fucking stupid. Okay. I'm so smart. It's crazy.
The Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer is how the knife was brought into the courthouse.
You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth.
You just need to look a bit closer, Francisco, to see what I mean. Don't let color and ornamentation of the key handle remind you of anything.
They do remind me of the knife.
Very good. Both the Yatagarasu key in this photo and the murderer's knife have the very unique design on their handle. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was a knife.
You don't seriously mean to say?
It appears that you're finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces of evidence are in fact one and the same.
But that's impossible!
Even if that is what you believe, you should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife and do a little more in a little more detail. I don't know why we didn't do this in the first place. But alright. Yeah, okay.
I can't believe it turned into a curry. To think there was such trick in this thing.
So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key of the Yatagarasu store. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now.
Frankly, I am shocked.
Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of the piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea the key was hiding a blade inside.
But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key to knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday.
Among the law enforcement, the key was top secret. Looking for someone who knew even more about the key than Mr. Faraday, meaning that the only person could be is the one who sent the key in the first place, the great thief Yatagarasu.
Then maybe Mr. Rell really was the Yatagarasu, and he was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario?
No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bat said earlier,
but when we questioned Rell about what was sent along in the white cart, Rell had no idea what it was.
I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knew the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu.
It seems that this key is truly the key to solving the case. That's odd. We showed one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
The video showing the moment at which Mr. Rell committed the murder. Where could it have gone indeed?
Are you done with your inspection of the evidence?
Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I am missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence.
Your Honor, where did you derelict your duties?
What? No, I dare not lick my duties. What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid before me.
But I brought Mr. Faraday to hold back with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene?
There's something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It won't appear that for me that I'll find the answer I seek. I will have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant Nobby number 2.
September 10th, 6 p.m. District Court, defendant lobby number 2.
Why is he here? That's Detective Bad, but who's he with?
I've never seen that officer before.
So, did you find it? No, not yet, and I have looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. Heh, so you're the one running this show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes.
How dare you? Just who do you think you are? What was that all about? And who was that man just now?
Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life.
Does he even know we're standing right here behind him?
I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids?
It looks like you were paying attention after all.
Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head.
Oh, so that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. It's for him to keep an eye out on who is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bat, who was that rude man just now?
A guy came here from the Republic of Jiangfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of attainment from scratch.
By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication.
He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong rush of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude.
Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time.
I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bat?
Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well.
Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you.
I really doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if that's the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Earlier you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You're quite the busy man, Detective Bat.
Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say.
I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct?
I don't have anything left to say to you, boy.
Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you one way or another.
Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation?
I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's to help enough, don't you think?
Please, we are asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation.
Don't push me, kid.
I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime.
I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do would be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about?
Things you don't know about, but aren't you supposed to know everything?
He should. But is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind the piece of evidence. You should try showing it to him. Maybe prove the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Detective Bad, did you know of the existence of this item, in this photograph?
Of course I did. It's my job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case.
In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and the Yatagarasu key are one and the same?
Wait, that's impossible.
It looks like he didn't know after all.
This piece of evidence in which we call the Yatagarasu's key is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Rell was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct?
I guess so.
However, Mr. Faraday had no idea it was in fact a knife.
Yeah, I have to admit neither one of us knew the fact. And neither one of us knew that no one in the law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this?
I noticed that since a little while ago you appear to be searching for something. I presume it is this key that you were searching for?
Yes, right.
And why were you searching for it?
Because I promised Faraday. I promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after he was killed, the key disappeared from the Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key is what took Faraday's life?
Detective Bad, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me for what you saw. Alright.
It doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing will change.
Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 that you experienced, and what you experienced in lobby number 1.
My answer's still the same. And this is the last time I'm gonna do this.
That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and to find the truth behind the case.
Detective Bad's movements.
I was in lobby number 1 talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard a gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out into the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and we all ran into lobby number 2.
It sounds exactly like the same story he told us before.
Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information we can. Rebuttal! Elaborate.
Hold it!
I was hoping you would expand on exactly what you were discussing with Monsieur.
Trivial stuff. Nothing important.
That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's for him to decide. Moving on then.
That's a good piece of dialogue, actually.
Hey, that's the first line of the entire game that we left. Look, hey, look at you go.
Character development.
I heard a gunshot right before the trial was about to
Hold
reconvene.
it!
Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary?
I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot.
If the gunshot Detective Bad heard really was the one from the murder, that would give the other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now.
Sure. I didn't hear any other strange sounds till the gunshot.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense, buddy pal, because this exploded.
Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything?
It's the same color as the one Chaos holding.
Oh, so you knew about the girl's balloon?
Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her.
Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon.
So, what about the balloon?
I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point.
What are you getting at?
This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook for a gunshot.
Oh, so the sound that Judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh?
On top of that, His Honor said he heard a balloon pop about 20 minutes before the trial was about to reconvene.
Which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at the time, you were close enough to should have heard the balloon popping as well.
So?
What, don't give me a so?
We just proved that there is a flaw in your testimony.
The cackling of the truth is louder than the sound of his sweet, naive cracking. And since you kids don't seem to get it, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because we were designed to keep secrets from being leaked.
What is that supposed to mean?
The doors and walls are super thick, and the window panes are double layered. On top of it all, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbed material.
Then you mean...
Since I was about to shut up inside lobby number 1, there was no way I could have heard that sound.
Nein!
Ugh. I knew that's what he was going to say.
Then, that means that Scruffface's testimony is completely useless. If that's the room is soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle.
Oh.
That's also why it's only natural. I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids?
Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the one finding flaws in his logic. Not the other way around.
Other way around. It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if we're in lobby number 1. However, if we examine the situation in reverse, a person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear a real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims he heard it while he was sitting in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot?
What do you mean? How? I just did.
It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words.
Oh? How so?
If the rooms are soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of a gunshot enter your ears?
I see what you mean. I get some more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought.
Which means exactly what, Miles? In the end, what does this all boil down to?
It boils down to this. There must be a reason as to how Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot that theoretically they could not have heard.
It looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh?
The state of the crime scene? What can it be?
Is that ultra-strong perfume you wears? She spilled some of it.
Yeah!
It's way too noisy.
The surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go?
Lobby number 2 window was open. This. A very loud television. I figured it out. Okay. Okay, so the very loud television had a gunshot on it, which traveled through lobby number 2's window into this window right here because the window was open. The missing evidence was stolen at the exact time of the murder, and the murder didn't happen just before the court started. It happened way before that point, before Gumshoe even got here. I got it. Okay, lobby number 2 window. And I'm guessing they're spelling the smell.
It's simply not possible for the killer to have escaped through the barred windows. And yet the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape the defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can move freely through these open and barred windows. Now then, what else besides a smell can go in and out of an open and barred window? The answer is sound. So no matter how careful the killer was, and the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both the defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of a gunshot could be heard in both locations.
Missing evidence and the gunshot could be heard, I guess.
The missing piece of evidence is a video that shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when I first played it during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess and brought back here. If it disappeared after that time, then it's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! I fucking hate you. The evidence that is missing in the evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place.
Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and start looking again.
It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look.
And where would that be?
I believe we should examine the television.
The TV? Well, the kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like.
Begin investigation. Defend lobby number 2.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. It's a video player, and there seems to be a videotape inside.
It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end.
This tape. Could it not be the missing surveillance tape?
I suppose, but...
Detective Bad, would it be alright if I verified the contents of this video?
Sure, knock yourself out.
Alright, let's rewind this and ask what we have.
If I remember correctly, the footage of Rel killing the embassy staff member should be at about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape.
Understood. This should be about right. Now then, let's see.
This is the footage of Mr. Rell shooting the embassy staff member.
I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along.
His sounds. What's the meaning of this?
It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot we heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder.
Do you mean that you figured it all out, then?
Yes. All that I have to do now is to show what the gunshots Detective Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from.
Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced.
What the gunshot they heard, and through where they heard it from. Like they heard it through the window. They heard the tape through the window.
Like, that's not hard to figure. Why do I have to do this? If the door and the windows of the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used a gun, and no one would have been the wiser.
That's true. The courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were.
However, what happened in reality was, Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bat, and Miss Yu, all three of them heard a gunshot.
Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in this location could hear it.
Ah, but then, why would the criminal have to open the window in the first place?
To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose?
Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this.
But why was that necessary in the first place? I want the real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction.
Very well, I believe the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. When the crime took place, the killer wanted to fabricate the time of death of the precise wishes, and they used the gunshot and the surveillance video to do so.
So that's why the tape was left running.
You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video?
Yes, which means that the murder really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. It must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for the time period, and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. Investigation complete.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Yes, what is it?
Miss Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says she's identified a murderer, but that's what she wants to clarify something.
It looks like Miss Yu is still investigating something.
Understood. Please tell her that I will be right over.
I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say.
It would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth.
Right now.
Save your progress, you bitch.
September 10th, 6:15 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 3.
Where's Kay there? Was she just in there? What? Okay. Okay, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating.
But the object you're looking for has already...
Kay, don't mind them. Please continue your investigation.
Okay, you got it.
Detective Bad, haven't we already found what you were looking for?
If it means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer, any little task will do.
Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth.
I've also been waiting for the moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest.
The moment she finally lays case to rest. Please take the gunshot arrest. I think we want to solve this case already. Don't you?
We will see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we even have a viewer in the gallery. Or even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I'm hardly just a bystander.
I have a duty to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out.
Oh? Is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I've slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements during the time our suspects were in the hallway. I also confirmed that there's no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must without a doubt be Detective Gumshoe.
And that's all you have.
Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion, and that's the case.
Sorry, but I beg to differ. In a trial, there's always time for rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It would be more than appropriate to follow the rules of the courts in this case, don't you think?
Since the thief rookie thinks such a thing.
Oh, but alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony.
If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is prove it by showing who the real killer is.
Misuse argument.
Everyone sense the suspect has an alibi What the fuck do you mean sense the suspect? Oh, sense Undertale? Everyone sensed the suspect has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have been thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed that there's no other possible escape route from lobby number 2, which leaves us the unshakable conclusion that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Now that I have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth.
But of course, there's no need to confront her logic head-on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out the trump cards that she has up her sleeve. Rebuttal!
Suspect has an alibi when the gun went off. Let me press that.
The suspect, but I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven.
Are you joking, Edgeworth?
I assure you this is no joke.
Look, I know you've heard the judge earlier, that the detective was in the hallway from Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll.
Yes, that is correct.
But see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? And the problem is there's no one else who can corroborate what he did since the snacking.
I see she's done her research as well, which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump card she's withholding.
I mean, no, because like the crime didn't take place then, it took place before because of the surveillance video. But like I don't know if I can tell that to her like that. So I'm just gonna press the next one as well.
Hold it!
Wherever they have been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide.
It's just showing from the lens and he fired up there. Anyway, even if you believe that it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene in lobby number 2, there's no way other than the hallway the Detective Gumshoe was standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect.
But isn't that also possible that someone escaped through a window or into the garden?
That's the first place everyone looked, silly. Police have a bunch of lazy bums. They look for every possibility, you know. Isn't that right, Mr. Bat?
Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. I also earned any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden.
I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case.
Yeah, okay, definitely. I'm supposed to present something to the first thingy, and I presumably this. I was wrong.
I'm getting laughed at. Can't believe this.
I guess I will continue to try.
Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape?
Of course I'm sure.
Then why are you so certain?
This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. And if there was an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. It's just common sense. Miles, Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future.
God.
Hold it!
You may think it's unshakable, but to me there's still too many unanswered questions. For example, who is it that placed the gun on Mr. Faraday's hand?
You're the only ones that wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write on, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing.
I'm not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flip-flap statement. I suppose we really reached an end for now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire a little more something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francisco or myself speaking to you about the subject.
But there were witnesses for you, and your mentor gave you an alibi.
I see.
As for your little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess. And she stopped the security guard at the door of the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I am the daughter of Manfred von Karma, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or a bailiff or anyone else.
Wait, so basically the only reason Francisca bothered to show up today was because she found out I was to be the replacement prosecutor. By the way, Miss Yu, what about everyone else's alibi before the Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty?
What about them?
Have you looked into what people were doing during this span of time?
What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter when the killer went to the lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Batter and I arrived at the scene, we dashed in from lobby number 1. The only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, let's talk about when you and Mr. Detective Bat heard the gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than the gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception of what the crime took.
Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1, care to explain how he could have been fabricated?
I guess it's time for me to present it now instead of in the testimony. Which is fucking stupid, I would like to say. Anyways.
Take that! That tape?
Yes, that's exactly what you think it is. It's the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell and the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded on the video player in lobby number 2. This was connected to the large television that it had the volume turned all the way up.
You can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video.
But I do, which leads me to the next point. The murders occurred much earlier than we heard anyone who heard the gunshot.
That's the only thing I can think of too.
After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and let the video play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we now know that the method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe.
Sounds like a television doesn't amount to much here. But of course Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew, didn't we, Miles?
Oh yes, of course. We knew about the soundproof quality of the courtrooms. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until a very little while ago.
That's right, and if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear. And yet we heard the gunshot clear as day.
And?
And? That's it, end of story.
But it's not. I should explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room. The window was open. There is actually one common point between the lobby number 1 and lobby number 2. It is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioning installed, a window was open in each. Now we know for the window lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also opened.
Probably just gave some Super Bowl for open at the time.
It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window opened in lobby number 1? The answer is a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is...
Take
that! Miss Callisto Yu, I hereby formally indict you as the murderer of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell.
Was? You indict me? Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she's the killer?
I don't understand her motive just yet, but of course I'm serious. Because she's the only one who could have done it. Well, Miss Yu, do you still feel like laughing now?
Of course I do, Edgeworth.
My argument must not be tight enough yet.
Although I never thought things that would spiral into this, I'll have you know that I'm enjoying the stance quite a bit. I guess it's meant for us to... time for my own rebuttal now, right?
Miss Yu's rebuttal.
You argue that the window was opened, however, you do have proof it was I who did it. Furthermore, do you have proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like that, especially for your logic as full of holes as yours.
This is where it really starts. I mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or the truth will blow away. Now it is time to put the patented Von Karma perfect proof to the test. Rebuttal!
I'm really stopping the music.
I'm sure you've seen before, haven't you, Miss Yu?
Don't you ever never knew you went to one in that kind of perfume? It's not exactly what I'd recommend for boys, you know?
This isn't mine.
That's right, it's mine, and I received it from Detective Bad, you see?
Monsieur, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much for sure. That you are the one who gave this bottle of perfume to Mr. Detective Bad.
You're super easy to rile up! So, what about the perfume?
While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad.
How do I know?
Also knew that you spilled it, he would naturally move to open the window.
Come now, I have already told you that it's just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? So maybe it was just down luck that we heard the gunshot through the window.
The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something only you control. You could control. And the most important fact about this case is when the people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time.
You mean?
Monsieur, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gunshaw into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Monsieur.
Yeah. You accused me of murder on the fact that I spilled some little perfume. Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday.
Would you care to testify as to why?
Look, I've had my fun today, really. But I grow wary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap this absurd case up once and for all.
Why couldn't be me?
Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top, but I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife was used to kill him came from. Miles, her testimony is flawless.
Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking in information, I'll just throw it out of her. Rebuttal! I think I already explained the significance of that earlier.
You only confirmed that I did spill some perfume, but that's all. Now that you would accuse me of murder based on a simple spill, don't you dare complain when I sue you for defamation of character.
Do what you like, but as for me, I believe.
You believe?
I believe that you are the true culprit in this case.
Oh, you're enthusiastic. Of course, I should have guessed. But I suppose forging evidence was to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma.
I formally request that you desist from your attack against my mentor.
Yeah, or we will sue you for defamation. No, I'm telling you the truth. Or maybe we'll express some gossip. Although you adamant denial, so shall we say, just adding fuel to the fire.
How dare you?
Say such a thing.
Calm down, little girl. Don't let it get to you.
Ah, you have to ruin my fun. Shall I continue?
Hold it!
And why exactly could you not have killed him?
I'm just about to testify to that. Oh, you're such an impatient man. I'm not really into that, you know.
Oh, your preferences have no bearing on what is at hand.
Feel a little comfortable, Howie?
Objection!
Miss you will desist to this tomfoolery and return to your testimony, du Fotze. And Miles, if you're going to lose your cool, then I won't show you any mercy.
Sorry. Monsieur, please continue with your testimony.
Sure. As I was saying, I couldn't have possibly killed Mr. Faraday.
Curious.
Hold it!
At this rate, she will inevitably escape. If she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday, then she must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, monsieur. Maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag.
Miles, what do you think you're doing?
I'm drawing the truth out of her is what I'm doing.
I don't recall a knife being presented as evidence earlier today in the trial.
Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use.
So that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence that had yet to be presented was the key the Yatagarasu had sent. And unless the key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on. Did you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest.
I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might have apprehend what you just said in your testimony.
Sure, why not? I'll even say it as many times as you like. There was a key in his evidence pack, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key.
Well, that is correct, but there was actually a knife.
Monsieur, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key of the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife. Which means that if it was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not?
Yes.
Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing that the existence of the Yatagarasu's key.
I still haven't a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know.
You would even now still feign ignorance?
I'm not feigning anything. But if we can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence now, can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa, du kleine Fotz?
Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. Now take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real.
Well, who knew there was such a trick to this thing?
Are you satisfied now? But of course you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you who isn't a member of law enforcement and who would never have been able to privy to the trick, you would have not known to begin with. Furthermore, there's something that the Yatagarasu sent you to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was?
Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot. He also told me that about the key turning into a knife at that time. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms.
What are you saying is simply not possible?
Oh, why not?
Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. For within these pages he mentions nothing about a knife.
I'm not sure he would have written this everything in his organizer, you know? Wouldn't something this important better be left to oral communication?
Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bat didn't know about the knife aspect either. But you would have been highly classified information even within the police force, and there's something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition?
I guess it wouldn't make much reason to. Looks like I have a pretty lame excuse, huh?
How can you laugh at a time like this?
She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But it's not something we need to concern ourselves with.
I suppose you're right. Monsieur, I'd like to state that I also know how the real nature... I also know how you know the real nature of this knife.
You know? Well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me?
I will. I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, the moment of truth, the secret behind the Yatagarasu's key. Only one person would have had knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yatagarasu's key would change into a knife? The Yatagarasu. There's only one person who could have known about the dual nature of the key. That is the person who sent the Yatagarasu's key to the police. That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself.
Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu?
Monsieur, you used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You, who profess to bear a grudge against the criminals. Why? Why do you do something like this?
Who would have thought that you, a stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sailing the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill, it's even greater than I stuck into someplace.
You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Callista, you!
Mr. Yu, huh? That's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yadagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edward. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I would have to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal for little favor in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yadagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel cave. That Rel caves only two things, money and authority, just as all fucks do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on their way as they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both.
Didn't you say that you despised criminals?
I do really.
You. Have you forgotten about the KG8 incident too?
Maybe. What sort of woman would...
And then, what's your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent?
I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yadagarasu, by using this Yadagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it up with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife's portion. With the weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday, and in order to get in with him, I pretended to be worried about something. Then he let me hold the Yadagarasu's key, just like that. He never noticed that I had changed the key into a knife inside that plastic bag. And he didn't have a chance to take note of the knife that took his life.
How could you kill him?
I knew him for a long time, you know. At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death.
But you killed Mr. Faraday first. There was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well.
I believe I mentioned that when we were planning Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness. And how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd killed each other.
Then the trick was that surveillance tape.
Yeah, I hadn't actually planned to use the gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of the surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help set me up the crime scene. And after that, all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet.
You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you? How could you betray a client?
Client? If you want to talk about who was the client who's first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Cadopian embassy staff member Diet Man.
You ordered the hit job?
You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bear? I had Diet Man killed because he was about to give away info about the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly would you think would benefit from such an assassination?
It can't be. You're...
That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring.
Oh, how could this?
You don't mean the, working with Manny Kilchin too, do you?
Maybe not. I guess you'll never know. So Yatagarasu claims to be noble, and you're just another cold-blooded killer. That's right, little girl. Yatagarasu is just another killer.
Be quiet, you.
Yatagarasu, you can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court.
Hey, Edgeworth, did you know the Yatagarasu has 3 legs? You know why that is? No, well, let me tell you. It means that the Elgarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Elgarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it.
You mean the key was your real target?
And even after I gave you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye out for the criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence.
You two get down! Oh, my body. I can't move.
Hey, mister, do you alright?
You! Are you alright, Francisca?
I am perfectly fine, Miles.
Voice is shaking, but it looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? That's a gunshot.
September 10th, 7 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 3.
Sorry, but it looks like she got away. I called the precinct. They should have the perimeter set up soon.
Detective Bat, are you alright? I heard a gunshot.
I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket.
They say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken.
But more importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Miss Von Karma. Are you too hurt?
I am absolutely fine.
I'm also alright, thanks to Kay.
Speaking of Kay, where is she?
I don't know, she just sort of disappeared.
I'll go look for her. Oh, and hey, Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir? Detective Bat, sir?
I'm sorry I doubted you.
Don't worry, sir.
It's not your fault. Hey. Well, I did lie to you guys after all. I heard about what happened from Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. But in this case, you are protecting Kay and her feelings. It looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Now don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? You got it, Pops.
Pops.
Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we?
But you single-handedly destroyed the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment.
I should get back to the investigation. I swear I'll catch you if that's the last thing I do.
Be careful, Detective Bat, and take care.
Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find the truth behind everything.
Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you were taken to prison.
I can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. There's no problem, sir, really. I mean, I liked you, so it didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor.
Well, even if he didn't have his honest testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf.
Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired in my first week as a detective.
So as long as you're not fired, you should work hard, give it all that you have, and perform your duties well. And one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me.
She did? What is it?
What is it that Kay left me? Proof of their friendship. Fuck, I forgot. I guess it was the Swiss roll. Yeah, it was the Swiss roll, probably. Maybe. Was it the Swiss roll? Promises not paid? Was it the Promises notebook?
I can't save. Oh no, that's bad. Oh no, I'm gonna look at a guide. That's right. That's unfortunate.
I'm looking at a guide. It doesn't say it here. Fuck! For you see,
You missed fucking one karma. You missed one karma. It's unfortunate. Anyways, why did you leave him? It's not in the guide. Please be the Swiss roll.
Is the courthouse special Swiss roll? Can I really have it?
Yes, and it's a present meant for you after all.
It was I who made a faulty guide at the chemical plant.
Thanks a bunch. You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now.
Sure, go ahead. The Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay brought together. While the one Kay saved nearly reached her father. Never, fuck. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective.
Yeah, he's so happy. It's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own.
Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him.
Whoop, that was good, pal. Can't believe I gotta eat 2 of these delicious things in one day. It's like I'm a Swiss roll paradise or something. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she?
Only noticed that just now was his might not present when we discussed her earlier. Detective Bad left to get her to search for her earlier. Maybe you should go join him.
Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna help him. But first, you know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir.
I sense nothing but most troublesome relationship that from this onward statement.
We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report to us what has happened to Papa.
Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective.
Roger, sir. And don't you worry. I'll investigate the next case we're on real well.
He does. Foreshadowing. It's not really foreshadowing. It was the game after that. You playing investigations? Just duck the house. But that's how. Okay, that's awesome.
I'll be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at a court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immeasurable suffering he has caused me.
I hate this plot. Why is he so mean to Gumshoe? I don't get it. It's insane.
It's the Ace Attorney curse. Every side character just gets downgraded every time they appear. It's insane.
But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now reappeared in front of you.
So, what do you remember now?
Yes, I remember everything. Okay, it's been a while.
Kay, you should grow up a lot.
Of course! But thank goodness I thought you had totally forgotten about me.
You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time?
Yummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived real far away, so I wasn't really able to come back here all that much.
Is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're alright.
So does it all make sense now?
Yeah, betcha it does.
You know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and...
Hold it!
Actually, there are still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay.
Huh?
First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is close to you, the one who killed your father.
No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father.
Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu?
Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelves recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. And that was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure.
But that's impossible.
What's with that look? You don't believe me?
It wasn't just expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now.
Alright then, how do you explain this?
It's a way of disarming any security system of the user's choosing.
Yep, that's a little feat. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father.
Well, Mr. Faraday really was a great prosecutor. He was also a great thief, huh?
Yeah, my father worked real hard to steal the truth. But he was killed, and the Yatagarasu was no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently.
Someone other than you.
Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Look at this article.
The Yatagarasu sent an embassy a calling card.
Yeah, meaning this person's a fake, almost certain. That Callisto you lady behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like that gaudy card out.
But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with everything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if memory serves.
Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up and I knew I couldn't just let it go. I searched you out, and that's how I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth.
So you're saying that I have your father's and Mr. Yu's identity backwards?
Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end. And I want to revive the real noble Yatagarasu. And if I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace.
Okay.
Okay, it's honorable. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal.
Even if you are unhonorable, a thief is a thief. And if you are plotting to commit a crime, then I am afraid I can't be complicit.
Mr. Edgeworth. You guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now?
Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman.
That evil woman? You mean Callisto Yu?
I think it's all too hard for me to catch all by myself. But I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me?
Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you.
Huh? Owe me for what?
When Miss Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I am not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid.
Then you mean...
Yes. That case has been weighing on my soul ever since that fateful day, except it hasn't, because I forgot it. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. And if you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you.
Mr. Edgeworth, thank you!
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, isn't that great cake?
Yeah, it's yours, Gummy.
Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. Oh, what is it with the clumsy relationship? I have also forgotten her. What the fuck am I on about? The great thief Yatagarasu. After all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Brian Faraday, Callisto Yu, and Kay Faraday. The phantasmagorically shed fucking god Yatagarasu. And the Yatagarasu's real goal. It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay.
The end, and I hope you enjoyed this very stream, if I do say so myself. Now, because we all know that I don't have an outro, except this one, we are going to go ahead and continue this in the next stream, whenever that may be. I don't know, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps another day, I don't know myself. So, since I cannot cue the clown, this music will have to do as I let you all leave. And by you all, I mean absolutely 0 people, I'm the only one here. And...
Ignore this.